All right, step 2 of perspective drawing. Have your paper like you did yesterday horizontally in front of you. Now, this time yesterday I had you draw the horizon line, in the middle of the paper. This time I want you to put it about 1/3 of the way down from the top. All right, so don't look horizontally. So about 1/3 of the way. I'd rather it be closer to halfway down than, higher up, because we need space for all kinds of different situations. Most important thing with your ruler is to do what? What did I stress yesterday?
Make sure it's even on the edge of the
Very good. Always make sure the edge of your ruler is lined up with the edge of the paper. So all lines are perfectly vertical or horizontal. So draw your horizon line in the upper third. Go ahead, put your vanishing point about in the middle on your horizon line. Tiffany, just a small dot today, please, not a great big one, all right? It'll make it easier for you. So just a small dot. Now, when you get in a few days, when you start your own little town, you can put your horizon line wherever you want. You can put your vanishing point wherever you want, and it really changes the look of it. So, for example, based on what you know right now, if I put the horizon line really low, what would that do to your buildings?
It makes it look like you're like really high in the air, like really down.
Yes. No. Reverse that. Yeah.
You're under.
Yeah. If it's really low, you're probably not going to see any tops of your buildings.
Wouldn't it be like the straight view, like?
Almost, yes. All right. And then reverse that. If your horizon line is clear at the top of your paper, you're probably going to see the top of every building, even if it's supposed to look like a skyscraper. All right. So it just changes the looks of things. So beginning of our little town, you start with the road. All right. So the road is going to be a V, but listen carefully. In this whole lesson, for the rest of the few days we're doing this, listen very carefully to where I tell you to put things and what size, because I have a plan. Here's my little plan right here of where we're going with all this. So I make sure I teach you everything I want to teach you. So, yeah, so I have different situations, yes?
Do you want it at the top of the paper or bottom?
At the top, yeah.
Oh.
Upper third, yeah. So there's all these different situations I want to teach you, like if you want a building taller, shorter, a space between it, street lights, bricks. So, I need you to have these areas for us to do this. All right, so listen very carefully. So the road, what we're going to do is the road starts out as an upside down V. And I want it to just basically come straight down from your vanishing point. So down here at the bottom of your paper, I want that to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches down here. So what I'm talking about is straight below your vanishing point. I want it to, about 1.5 inches is a good thing. You don't really have to measure it, but just so you kind of know what I'm talking about, let me draw it and I'll show you so you can clearly understand. So it's just a V upside down, but this distance right here is what I'm talking about. That I want that to be around 1.5 inches or so, all right, down there. If it's not 1.5 inches, that's perfect. That doesn't matter.
Do you want it to go all the way to the bottom?
All the way to the bottom, yes. For right now, take it all the way down to the bottom. We'll worry about that later. So it's all the way down to the bottom. Just draw a V. Just draw a V there. Okay. So draw a V. And kids, if you got this, because some kids this just comes naturally to them, or some kids have had CAD, so it kind of helps them, or just by chance they already know how to do it. If somebody is struggling beside you and you see it, point it out, help them. Don't just let them sit there and you're like, look, they did that wrong. Oh well, try to help them. Now, the next thing I want you to do, one of the requirements that you have to have in your big town that you will build on your own, I have you have certain requirements, like you have to have so many buildings, so many streets, that type of thing. Well, one of them is you have to have this I call this the main V road. All right, so everybody in their final project is going to have this main V road. You also have to have at least one road that branches off to the left or right from your main V. So it's really easy. All I want you to do is write down here. You could actually just use the width of your ruler if you want to, but go off to the left, off your main V road, draw a line all the way to the left edge of your paper, right? So all the way just to the left, not the right, just a road that would turn off to the left. Okay? It turns off to the left. So right now we have the makings or starting of 2 roads. Okay? We're building our little town. Our first building is about to start. All right? So, everybody take your ruler. You're going to start right here on this corner. The corner of these 2 roads. Line your ruler up so that it's perfectly vertical. So line your ruler up with the edge of the paper. And April and Megan, this is kind of what you missed yesterday, the starting of a square. So all you're doing is making a square. Do not go over halfway up to your horizon line, kids. All right? So don't go up, because like I said, I have all these different buildings I need in place. So only like maybe halfway up to your horizon line, start with a vertical line. Now, how did we start our cubes yesterday? What was the first thing you had to draw? A square. Looking at this, is my square going to go from the left? Is that line we just drew, is that the left edge of the square or the right edge of the square?
Right.
Why is it the right? Right, it'd be out in the road if we, all right? So, take your ruler, line it up horizontally, and go over, not too awful far, maybe like 1.5 inches or so. Just go over to the left a little bit, and then drop it straight down. So if you're ever in question of what I'm talking about, just look up here and it should be clear to you. All right? Because I'm trying to draw everything proportional to what I want you to be drawing. So we have our square. Yesterday, how did we turn our square into a cube? Take it to the vanishing point. So we take the top right, angle it back to the vanishing point, draw back only a little bit, not very far, and then take the upper left to the vanishing point, and then end it. Are you starting to see now why you don't want to do that dotted line to the vanishing point every time? Because you would have a mess of extra lines there. So draw a horizontal line to end it, and erase off any extra little bit that you have. What's the final line I still need to draw on mine?
The right side.
The right side. April goes straight to the bench. Okay? So we need to drop that corner straight down to where it meets up with the road. Do I need to take a line from the bottom right corner of my square to the vanishing point?
No, because it's already there.
Correct. It's already there when we form the road. So we have our first cube. That's going to be our first building eventually. Anybody stuck?
Number 2.
Make sure that's a horizontal line. I need to double check. Make sure that's straight to me and get rid of that extra line there. You have to end it. You have to go straight. You have to end the line.
Like, it's like the front of it's like this and it brings out to the side.
Make sure the ruler is lined up.
I was like bored last Friday night and I told
All right, everybody got that? Now, the next type of situation I want to show you is if we wanted a building. Well, I don't want to do that one yet. Let me figure out which one I want to do next. All right, let's put a building back here.
Let's do it.
That
Oh my gosh.
is has a space. It's not connected to the one we just built. All right? So, scoot back here, and this is the last building you're going to do on this area, just this area. We're going to build over here, but here it's the last one. So, line up like above your roof of the first building. Line your ruler up with the street, a vertical line, and I want you to draw it really tall up over the horizon line. We're gonna make this look like a skyscraper office building or hotel or something. So draw it really tall. Then go to the left. And remember, we want it to be kind of tall and skinny, so don't draw it too fat. So just a little bit to the left. And then drop it from that corner, line up vertically, and go straight down. Let's see how smart you are with this so far.
I haven't drawn my
Go straight down.
Oh.
Yes. For right now, yes. Okay? Now, based on what you know so far, did I just tell you right?
No.
What's wrong with that?
The line. Two different. It's two different links.
Two different links. Good. What did I not do wrong? Or what did I not have you do?
The bottom line.
The bottom line. And you would be shocked at how many mistakes I get like this. Kids do this all the time in their projects once they're on their own. And I see where they drew this and then they just come down here. But this one we didn't have to worry about the bottom because it was already there. So they just kind of think, oh, they're all like that. But where do I need to draw the bottom line?
The right left corner.
Right left corner. So right here where it meets the road, you have to line up horizontally, and draw a line across, and then go back and erase that where I made you mess up.
Way to go, Maker. You're making my paper up.
So, well, I want you to learn it though. Okay. So now we know. Now what do we need to do to finish this? What? Take it to the vanishing point. So upper right corner, angle down, and this might be really tiny. Angle down to your vanishing point, and then drop it straight down to, man, I don't have hardly any side left. I need to make that bigger. You're not going to have any detail room there. Can't get it though, I don't think, because I put it too close. All right, good enough. So now we have a space here that later on we could turn into another road. We could put it like a little road that's going back to a parking lot. We could make it like a little grassy area, whatever we decide we want it to be. You did that and go there, but then you pick a point like where we might go straight. Yeah. Yours is just so close. Yours is like mine. It looks weird. No. Help, Nathan, would you please? Okay. Now, next thing, we're going to start a building or another road that basically is in line with this, but this one I want to come off to the right. So about in this area right here, I want you to drop in line your ruler up horizontally, and from the road, draw a line all the way across like that. Just one line. Line up horizontally, draw a line all the way across. Make sure your ruler is lined up with the edge of the paper. I got that? From this corner right here, we're going to start a building. Now, on this one, I'm not worried about things being in proportion. I just want to teach you different situations. So from this corner right here, I want you to line up vertically and draw, go up tall, go up above the horizon line. Go up above the horizon line. And then now we need to go which direction with our square? Left or right? Very good. So line up horizontally again from the top of that line. Draw a line. Don't go over halfway because we need 2 more buildings on this side of the street. And drop it straight down. Now how do we need to finish this one? What do we need to do to finish it?
Take it to the vanishing point.
Very good. Take it to the vanishing point. So, upper left corner, angle down to the vanishing point, and if you're like mine, you may not really get much of a side because I am so close to I had such a skinny little road there. So angle down to the vanishing point and drop it straight down then to meet up with your road. If you want to erase your horizon line in your buildings at this point, you can, so it makes sense to you, maybe.
It's like a big jumble of lines, but I don't know where all of it.
I thought about that. When we were French buildings.
Do what?
You can draw it.
We're going to have sidewalks in a minute. Yeah. Well, maybe not today, but we will eventually. Now, next building we're going to do is right by that one, but this one's going to do a little different.
From Jordan.
Well, in now, this time, you know how if you go downtown, like and you're at the public library, and I think it's an embroidery shop or something, or no, it's the photography, Baldwin,
They're right beside each other.
but you know how they all share a common wall.
Yes.
So, I want you to know how to do that. We have not done that yet. So, and that happens a lot in older towns, not so much now. They're not so much that way nowadays. But, so, we want to make a building that is shorter than the horizon line and shares a common wall with this building. So, what do you think we're going to do?
Just draw it straight in the middle.
Very good. We're going to come over here, and I've got one more building we got to squeeze in here, so don't make this one too big. But somewhere below your horizon line, just draw a horizontal line, and then drop it straight down to the road that we made. So see, now they're sharing a wall. This one is below our horizon line, so what are we going to see of this one? The top. So, how did we get the top?
You have to make it go to the vanishing.
Go to the vanishing point. Watch me for just a second, and then you can decide which way you want to draw it on your paper, because there's a couple different options right here. One is to simply go from this corner, line up to your vanishing point, and draw all the way till it runs into that building. That would make it look like it's a long building. It would give the illusion that it's, a fairly long building. If I don't want it to look that long, I can simply go angle back to that point and then just pick a point on it and draw a little horizontal line. And so it's a slight difference on mine, but yours might be more obvious. Do you see the difference there? So you do whichever way you want. Either draw all the way to the building or make it a little bit shorter. It's up to you. Beth, did you get yours fixed? All right, another building. Again, this one's going to go right by that one, share a common wall, but this one's going to be taller. So, we want it to share a common wall, so what do we need to do? Go straight up from the other one, make it taller, go up over the horizon line, pretty tall, because we're going to do something cool between these. Make it at least as tall as this one. It can be taller, but at least as tall as that corner building, all right? So line up on the line. Go up taller. Now, when you make this one, if you're close to the edge of the paper, or actually let's just have everybody do this, regardless of how huge yours might be. Line up horizontally and make the top of your building go all the way to the edge of the building, or edge of the paper. All right, all the way to the edge. Cassie, I'm glad you had a different pencil today. I can hear that in the recording. It's like. All right, now.
Does it have to be taller than the first one?
Not taller, but at least as tall. All right. Now, from the left corner, angle down to your vanishing point and draw a wall. That'd be the top corner. Do not go all the way to the other building, so end it a little about in the middle and then drop it straight down. But it will run right into the top of the middle building. That is correct, and I'm not trying to trick you that time. Here, guys, look at this. Do you see, when you look at mine and, you know, when I keep kind of walking around and seeing your things and, like, correcting you, do you see how obvious it is for me to spot as I walk by? Look how I've got one of those kind of crooked, and it stands out like a, you know, like it's like a red blinking light. Look, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. All right? So that's why I can tell. I've got that one crooked. I think it's the one I just drew.
Yeah, I was going to say. Did you mean to do that?
No, I did not mean to do that. All right? So, but just slight little things will stand out. And when you freehand, it really stands out. How are we doing on time? Good. Now, let's do, man, we're fast. We only have 2 more buildings. Let's do the normal one first. So, back over to the left. Over here on this road, we're going to draw a building, and we're going to make it fairly big. So, over here on the left, leave a space between this one. We're not sharing a wall. Come over here and make a building that goes up pretty close to the horizon line. It doesn't have to go all the way up, but pretty close. Make it taller than that first building on the corner. And then just let it run off all the way to the left edge of the paper also, like we just did on that other one. Because I want to show you some details eventually that make that look neat when it's running off. Then we need to finish it by taking the corners to the vanishing point. So take the upper right corner to the vanishing point. Now when you drop this down, be careful. Watch out for that. Don't do like the mistake I had you do a minute ago. So you drop it down, but you also need to do what? What line do you have to also draw? The bottom to the vanishing point. Okay? So take, because we left a space. So you got to put that bottom line in to the vanishing point. And it's below our horizon line, so we see the top of our cube. So we have to go, oh, here, let me show you this, guys. Remember I said draw it all the way off to the edge. So we want to pretend that the end of the building's out here, because when we get to details, I'm going to have you draw like half windows here so the viewer sees clearly we knew what we were doing. We didn't just run off the edge of the paper. So we're going to pretend that the vanishing point is, say, right here. I'll lay this pencil. Say the tip of that eraser is, that doesn't show up, does it? It's off the camera. All right, pretend the edge of the pencils, or the edge of the building's right out here. Why do we need to know that?
So that way you know the other line.
Exactly, very good. You have to know kind of where you're pretending the edge is to angle to the vanishing point to get where that line appears on your paper. See how mine doesn't have, doesn't meet right there. And then from that back right corner, line up horizontally and take it to meet up with that one. Do what?
Well, it's kind of funny.
Let me see.
I don't know where to end it off.
Oh, that's fine, just go horizontally from that corner straight across. Yeah. Now, this last building we're gonna build on here, it's kind of tricky. It's a little different, you have to kind of really think it out because we're basically building it in reverse. But before we build it, let me explain something to you. When I give you on your big one, your requirements of like so many buildings, so many roads, and you're getting there, and then say you were done. Say this was my requirement. But as you're sitting there thinking and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, okay, Meeker said make good use of the paper. She didn't want a bunch of empty space. So I've got this huge area here that's blank. I could turn it into various things. I could turn it into like a parking lot or like a playground. But remember, anything you draw has to be in perspective. So, even like the lines, the little, those little concrete barriers that you put in parking lots, I'll teach you how to do all that, but it's all in perspective. So you may decide, oh, it's just easier to put a building there, kind of help fill it up. So you want to have all your buildings in place before you ever begin any details. Because, keep this in your head, guys, pretend we've spent 2 days doing bricks and all this fancy detail on these building fronts here, okay? Just keep that in mind and think what's about to happen, all right? So you've spent 2-3 days building.
Would you freehand the brick? Or
No,
would you...
everything is ruler. Everything is very precise. Everything.
Well, what about the small details that you said you did?
You're going to use a ruler. I
What
teach
is
you.
the shading?
Well, you don't really do a lot of shading in perspective drawing. It's a very technical drawing. Yeah. All right. So remember, we're pretending we did lots of details, spent days and days on that. And then we decide, oh, we want to build a building there. So finish the road here. Come in here, draw a line that indicates the other edge of that road. Leave your center line, where the center line, the center V road meets it. Leave that because we're going to talk about that too eventually. So just leave it. Don't bother erasing it. That's going to be the back edge of that building or that street. So, take your ruler, line up this corner that we just formed, or point, line up vertically on that, and go up into your building. Stay below your horizon line, but go up into that building there a little bit, okay? So go kind of close to your horizon line, but don't go all the way up there, all right?
You should be in line with the other building.
It depends, Megan. Some people's might, but like mine's not. It all depends on how wide your road was and that type of thing. Now, normally where would we go from here with this? What line would we draw next? To the right. We're not doing that. Line up your ruler to the vanishing point from the top of that line. All right? Line it up, angle to the vanishing point. What way do we normally draw? To the point, correct? We're not going that way. We're going backwards. So pull that line back a good ways toward you. It can come pretty close to the bottom of your paper. Are you starting to see what's happening? Now, from there, drop that line straight down vertically. We're building this almost backwards. But we have to because we've already established a space that it needed to fit into. All right? Now, from this corner right here, I want you to draw that all the way horizontally, all the way to the edge of the paper. Did I lose you?
No. Oh, you're doing the entire space, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Anybody lost yet?
Mine looks completely different.
It can and still be correct. Now, from this corner, this point right here, line up horizontally with your ruler. Make sure you're on that point and it's horizontal. And go to your right. Come over in all the way into your third building. A little bit, into your third building. This could be whatever size you wanted it, but I just want to demonstrate something to you. So come over into your third building. From where you stop that line, line up with your vanishing point and pull your line to your right off the paper. So this, it looks like it would be a massive building, which it would be fairly big, but because it's right close to us, it makes it look big. You know, it's like things that are big or closer to you look bigger, even if they're the same size objects. And we'll talk about that when we do street lights and stuff. But look here. All this detail, even like maybe we've done sidewalks, all kinds of detail in here, all that's just wasted. Because now that building is covering it up, so there was no point in doing it. So that's why I want you to make sure you always have all your buildings in place before you begin to do any kind of details. All right? So, let me see. Is that... All right, that's all our buildings that we're going to do. This is a good stopping place, so put your names on these. Put them in the tub. Tomorrow we will start details on these. Okay, so make sure you keep it. So put your name on it, put your ruler up, and then we will start detail on it tomorrow.